It's really funny because we haven't got windows in the curtain at the moment, so I've set up in the living room, and like the neighbours are just putting the bins out, probably looking in, thinking, "What is he doing?" Which window? Hello and welcome to United Stand. I'm Mark Goldbridge. I've got Alex with me. It's the big Pogba show that we always promised that we would do, isn't it? It's the welcome to Pogba. We've wanted to do it. He is here, and first of all, I'm just going to go to Alex while I open up the live comments box and say, Alex, how are you feeling about it?
Absolutely amazing. Obviously, we've been linked with him for so long. Well, we've actually been linked with him for quite a few years now. Ever since he's left, it seems that we've been linked with him, but it's just such a good signing, I think. I think he can be the person to take us to this next level, and what I really noticed in his opening interview was how happy he does seem to be back, and it doesn't seem fake. And a lot of people say it's about the money and all this, but I don't think people really care about 1 year's worth of missing out on Champions League when you see the world-class manager we have in place, the world-class team we're starting to build, and I think we are on the cusp of something special and getting back to the top, which Pogba said about constantly in his interview about how he wanted to win the Premier League, and I think it's going to be between us, City and Chelsea, but you've got to, at the moment, in terms of the transfer window, have to make us favourites.
Yeah, I'm just messing around with stuff there. The live comments is working. We're getting a bit of lag, which I never normally get on this, which is quite annoying, but there we go. Lots of you watching. I will be live on Fan TV at some point later on, which is going to be quite interesting. But I wonder if it's because I've got my Wi-Fi on. Bit of a slow start, but we'll get going. Yeah, the Pogba comment's quite interesting, what he's come out and said. I think Alex has watched the video about 100 times of him, of his welcome. I tell you what really got me that I wanted to talk about first is the time that it was announced was just ridiculous. We were doing the show last night. A lot of people were saying, it's going to be 9 o'clock. And it obviously happened at midnight. I mean, I'll go to you again, Alex, and I'll get the live comments there. And sorry, I've just got to do a little bit of a bow, because people said that we should bow on the United Stand for being so right about the Pogba thing. What made me laugh is that I did tweet it out today for a bit of a joke, and I said, did the old DiCaprio gif off Wolf of Wall Street when he's there in front of the crowd, and I said something along the lines of, when you've been saying Pogba's going to sign for weeks and he actually signs, and the amount of people who replied and went, everyone's been saying it for weeks. Well, I can produce the tweets where 80% of you were like, we're not going to sign him, and been really negative. So I don't care, you're all basking in it now, but fantastic. It is fantastic, really excited about it. But what was your interpretation? There's a lot of them, Alex, in relation to the signing, the announcement signing. I mean, I've got a theory, but I haven't asked you what yours was.
In terms of the marketing and stuff, I think it is really good. I know like some people have been cringing about it, like hashtag Pogback and everything, but they've seemed that I'm personally, with how this has been announced and everything, I'm under the opinion that this has been done for about 2 or 3 weeks now, and that they were just getting everything ready in place, like how that Stormzy video came out and stuff, and Pogba's hair is different in that music video than it is now, and he hasn't, judging from his Instagram and stuff, he hasn't had that hair for like 2 or 3 weeks as well. So but obviously they did like a big fanfare. I haven't seen any player for any club have like the basically market like strong push that has been with this whole thing about how they've like Adidas basically announced it, Stormzy announced it, and then obviously the United thing. United have now changed their like logo on Twitter to black and gold, which is what they're using for this whole marketing campaign with Pogba anyway. It's just like such a huge deal, and you see all these rival fans being like, he's such a waste of money, blah blah blah. These same fans would absolutely give anything for him to be in their team, and he's by far the best centre midfielder in the Premier League. The only midfielders in the world you can make a case for being better than him are Cruz, Modric and Iniesta, and they're all in the league and not in this league. So I'm absolutely over the moon with the signing.
You've just reminded me of something, actually. I was actually watching Fan TV. I've got to plug it because I'm going to be on it in a minute, but I was watching it before I came on air, and they had a Juventus fan on, and I really, really wish they'd kept the Juventus fan for me, because I am going to bury him when I go on the show anyway, and hopefully they'll get him back on, Gianluca or whatever his name is. But I tell you what, I think he's been sucking on some lemons, because he was very, very bitter. Apparently, Pogba's very overrated. He only performs against the lesser teams, and he only performs 1 every 4 games, and he's just laughably bitter, really bitter. But apparently he watches him every week because he's a Juventus fan. Keep convincing yourself, pal, because I've seen enough of Pogba I don't watch him every week, but I've seen enough of Pogba to know that he's not a flat track bully, and he plays better once. And I mean, he had, actually, the most telling stat, if I can get my words out, was that in Serie A last year, he had the most take-ons out of anybody. That means like running at people, running past them. So he must have been doing 20 a game if he was doing it every fourth game. But absolute nonsense. But my theory on the signing being announced at midnight and screwing me over, because we've been really good this year in relation to reacting to stuff, and the biggest one ever, and we get it wrong. I woke up this morning and my feed was full of stuff and emails and everything. But my theory on it is quite simple. I just think it's fantastic. You know, yeah, we missed it, but I think it's fantastic because, you know, the United Stand's always been a channel about the global Manchester United support. You know, we've had issues in the past with people say you don't go to games, you're not from Manchester, this, that and the other. And to be honest, the UK and European fan base sort of got sidelined because it was like the US market, the Asian market, everywhere else in the world, that hit in their daytime or at a decent time for them. And for us, it was a poor time. And I think, you know, like Adidas said, first never follows. And they knew. I mean, I said, if it's not done by 9:30 last night, they're not going to do it because it's like, what a silly time to do it. And then they went and did it at midnight. So I thought it was fantastic. And I think it was a big finger up to those arrogant fans who are, there's a few still left who are like, you don't go to games, you're not from Manchester. Because you know what? They were probably all fast asleep when we made the biggest signing we've ever made and a world transfer fee. I don't know what your thoughts on that are, Alex.
Sorry, from the top of my head, the last transfer I can think about that didn't we do Falcao at like 2 a.m. or something ridiculous like that? Obviously didn't have the fanfare and everything that this Pogba deal had, but I strangely remember it was either Falcao or Di Maria or someone. I'm pretty sure it was Falcao because it was right at the end. Was done at like 2 a.m. or something. But yeah, I woke up today and was just like getting ready for work and stuff, and I didn't even have time to read the interviews because then just as I was going out the door I got a WhatsApp like showing, oh, it's official and stuff, and then I looked on our official Twitter page and it had been done for like 7 hours and stuff. But yeah, I was expecting it to be about 2 o'clock this afternoon or something that all the pictures came out, but yeah, it was a big thing, and I'm over the moon about it. I think it's going to be such a good signing, but I don't know what, I had a discussion about this at work today. Do you reckon that he will be on the bench for the Bournemouth game, or do you think we're going to wait a week or so? He obviously won't start because he's not match fit, but I guess he'll be in training starting tomorrow, I would guess. And do you reckon he'll be on the bench?
I think it's tough. I think was he training today? I think he was training today. So he's got Tuesday, Wednesday. He's not going to be match fit. I think he'll be. I think the Southampton game. You know, maybe like I remember when we signed Van Persie and he hadn't had much play for Arsenal, but he had a pre-season, and Pogba's not had that. I think having him on the bench is useful because I think if you start in Fellaini, which I think we will do, and Bournemouth's first home game of the season, I think they'll be up for it. I think they will be up for it. So I think having Pogba on the bench is sort of a boost. He's not happy about that. He's gone. But yeah, I think he will be on the bench. He's not going to start, never in a million years. Just want to say to people as well, I hope you're liking this new setup. We're sort of going to go for this a little bit more now. Whole transfer summer we've been going raw with the hangout, but we are going to get you involved in the live comments and the guest in the corner and me in the studio because I like the setup. However, what I must apologise for, in my greed to go high resolution, it's messed my computer up and means there's a slight audio lag. So I know there's an audio lag today. I'll sort it tomorrow. I've just gone super HD and I shouldn't have done it, so I've got greedy. So there will be a slight lag on this one. I do apologise. And Lynn, who is watching Fan TV whilst watching us as well, she says that Justin Lee Collins is winding up United fans. Well, he's going to meet his match very soon when I go on. I think I'm going to be on at about 9:30 or something like that. So, we'll discuss that in a moment.
Justin Lee Collins is on it.
It's the presenter, mate. Audio not in sync with the vid. Yeah, we know that. MA7 Football just explained that. I wanted to take some of your comments, but you've all frozen a little bit there. Juventus fans start burning Pogba jersey, says Marek. You know what? It is the Pogba show. It is the Pogba appreciation show. We don't make any apologies for that. It's been rumbling on for weeks. Nearly every video we've done for the last 4 weeks has had Pogba mentioned at some point. So we've got to sort of... you know what? One thing that I think doesn't get mentioned enough, Alex, is we have broken the world transfer record. I mean, we're all lost in this Pogba brilliance that he's come back, and somebody made a very, very good point about when we lost to, was it Boxing Day we lost to Stoke this year or last year with Van Gaal, and I'm sure somebody will correct me on there, but we lost to Stoke around Christmas, and it made me think today, who'd have thought after that horrible Christmas that a few months later we'd have Jose Mourinho in charge, we'd have Paul Pogba back, we'd have Zlatan up front, Mkhitaryan in the midfield, and we'd be starting a season like that. We'd still have Fellaini, that's the downside, but it's a great thing, and I think there's so many aspects to this Pogba deal. But yes, we've broken the world transfer record. I mean, is that something you've contemplated much, Alex? Because I think that is the whole winter is coming, winter is here thing. We've broken the world transfer record, and I have to think that's fantastic.
Don't get me started on the winter is coming, winter is here.
Go on, get started on it.
You're pushing, but aside from that, yeah.
Slag Madrid off, it's your opportunity.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like the huge thing about this is now 2 transfer windows they've tried to fuck us over, and 2 transfer windows they've failed. With De Gea, obviously, which I know that was more through luck, but this one was more just through us being now such a like commercial powerhouse that they can't like go toe to toe with us anymore without selling. Whereas with United, I feel like we don't even have to sell to buy. Like, who have we sold this season? We've always, like, aside from Ronaldo, we haven't ever really got good prices for our players. We always get like shortchanged them, and we just still can like push. Like, people are saying, like, people said, like, I think it's the Liverpool fans, obviously take as you will, but they were like, oh yeah, how can you consider yourself like rich and that it's just pocket change this Pogba deal if you have 300 million debt? We can manage this 300 million debt, and we could spend just as much as we've spent this summer, every single summer, and it doesn't mean anything to us. I saw someone do a percentage thing in terms of turnover, and they said Man United spending this on Pogba is the equivalent of Crystal Palace signing someone for £15 million. So it just shows how powerful we are in the transfer market. But the main thing that pisses me off with the whole transfer window overall is that City have so far spent more this window now after the John Stones deal than United have, yet you don't hear anyone talking about how much City have spent. It's all about what United have spent.
That's a very good point. I think it was Jude, who's been on the channel before, Old Trafford Voice, put a tweet out today, a very good tweet, and he listed all the players, and Man City have spent more money than us. I mean, 50 million for John Stones is a laugh. I mean, I'm not going to be a contradiction and say that I don't rate John Stones, because at the start of the summer I thought he was a viable signing before we got Bailly. But I agree with what Josie said, that why would I think he likes John Stones, but wasn't in for him, because what we need is an experienced centre back, not a youth one. And having said that, I've always been quite consistent as well, that if we'd signed Stones, we'd be signing potential that I think Mourinho would turn into a very good defender. I'm not convinced Pep can turn him into a very good defender, because that's not what Pep's all about. He wants football players. So I think City, I mean, one positive I will say about Ashley Williams, who I've got on his back all summer saying he's not a United player, for Everton to get rid of John Stones for 50 and get Ashley Williams for 10, that's a great bit of business for Everton. I know he's a lot older, but I mean, John Stones has made a lot of mistakes over the last year. He's not even England's current centre-back, and I don't think he will be. I think Cahill and Smalling have got that wrapped up. So he's got a massive steep curve, and if you're paying 50 million for John Stones and you're paying 89 million for Pogba, all right, it's nearly double, but it makes Pogba look a big bargain to me. There's a good question here from Joel Kellum. He says he says play him for the first 45 minutes. Sorry Joel, it wasn't your good question. It was Glitch X Gamer 123. Brilliant question. I wish I'd thought of this. How long do you think Pogba will stay, Alex?
I was thinking the same thing. I think it entirely depends on how good we become in the next 3 years. Like, I truly think that if we don't win the league this season, we'll come at least second, and then the following season we'll win the league. If you look at Jose's track record, he always wins the league. It just depends. You could even tie it in with the Pogba line of how long Jose will stay, because he does obviously have the track record of falling out with people. So if he now is in a club where I feel like he wasn't supported financially by Roman in his second stint at Chelsea, and now the Glazers seem to have, and I really hope it's just that they've turned over a new leaf and not just because they're going to just spend till we win the league again and then stop spending it again, but they seem to have turned over a new leaf. And if we can keep up this like financial juggernaut with United just bringing in this like Galactico model, which has always been Ed Woodward's dream, and then Jose coming on, then there's no reason why Pogba can't stay for like a long time. Mourinho said in his comments when signing Pogba that he's someone to build the team around for at least 10 or more years. So you'd have to think from that. But then obviously Real Madrid are always going to come knocking for our best players. But if we end up challenging for the Champions League again, there's no reason why we can't fend them off.
Adam Fitz, I am the King of the North. Winter is here. That's just for you. Robert Burns, I will say your little logo when it was whizzing through then had my heart skipped a beat for a moment, but I don't need to worry about it. You've got a real name, but people will get, regulars might get that. How long do I think Pogba will be here? And again, I apologise. What you're losing in lag, you're getting in high resolution Goldbridge tonight. I went too high on the resolution and it's messed up the lag with the audio slightly. So, and I can't do it. I can't change it now without stopping the stream. So we'll just have to live with it. But it'll be better tomorrow night. But in relation to Fan TV, stick with the United stand for now. I'll tell you everything about Fan TV in time for when I go on. And Mourinho benched Casillas at Real Madrid when he was captain and a club legend. Will he do the same with Rooney, says Tommy Herald? Well, we can talk about that in a moment. I was going to try and bring that up on Fan TV just to be controversial, actually. But how long will Pogba stay? Well, he's 23 now. I think he's only 23 in April. So in 3 years' time, he'll be 26. I think he's here for 3 seasons, is what I would say. Minimum. Not that he's going to go in 3 years. He'll be here 3 years minimum. In 3 years, we'll have won the league title and potentially a Champions League. If he is part of that, which he will be in 3 years' time, and he decides he wants to go to Real Madrid, I'll be disappointed. But you know what? That's what it's all about. And like Alex said, where we are now as a club, we will go and spend £100 million on somebody else. If Pogba wants to go to Real Madrid, I never had a problem with Ronaldo wanting to go to Real Madrid. If he wants to go to Real Madrid in 3 years' time, as long as he does the business for us, that's fine by me. Obviously, I want him to stay for 10 years, like Jose sort of alluded to, but I didn't really buy into that. But if he does the business here for 3 years, which he will do because these are his prime years, getting towards his real prime, then I haven't got a problem with that, and we just go and buy somebody else. But you know what? I don't know whether he will go to Real Madrid because we did the Winter is Coming video last year. It's come a bit quicker than I thought. Gary Lineker sort of jumped on it this morning by saying, "Oh, football's suddenly come all Premier League now." And we've been saying this for a year. This is going to happen.
Quickly on that point of Gary Lineker, of how much of a fucking hypocrite he is, like how he put that point that you just said, that he's like, it's a watershed moment for the Premier League, and how this is the first player, the first global superstar that's come into the Premier League in their prime. Yet during the Euros, he was saying, he put a tweet out saying, "Is Pogba the most overrated player of all time?"
I saw that, yeah.
And then now he's just contradicted himself. So ridiculous.
Lineker just goes for likes and retweets, to be honest. I'm sure he's got a book on how to get good retweets because he seems to come out with them. But this is the case. I'm not over-egging the pudding. Stoke City can already outbid the likes of Atletico Madrid for players. You know, they've bought they have brought Shaqiri, Afellay, and whatever. What's the other one? Bojan. Give it a couple more years of this TV. The trouble is, Real Madrid and Barcelona, I know they're trying to sort out the TV deal now to distribute it fairly, but what they did is they got very greedy. They took all the TV money, it made them very rich, but it made their league very boring. What the Premier League did is they shared it out, and I must admit, over the years, I have moaned about it a bit, saying, why do we give Villa loads of money? Why do we give them the money when it's everybody wants to watch Manchester United? But ultimately, it's made us far richer because we've got a very, very entertaining league where Leicester can win the league. You know, Leicester won't win the league this year. They've got absolutely no chance, but they won the league because everybody else took their foot off the pedal. But we have got a very entertaining league, and that is why we have all the money and all the sponsorship, and that money's not going to go anywhere. Our league would need to regress, and the Liga would need to go up there like that, which is not going to happen. Barcelona and Real Madrid will still be rich, but this league's just going to get richer and richer and richer. Carrick fans saying that Ricardo Carvalho has been released by Monaco. He was past it when he was past it at Chelsea, so I wouldn't want him. But yeah, I can't see that happening. And like Alex says, he's 36. But yeah, so Pogba could go in 3 years. Having said that, I can only see a bigger and bigger decline for Real Madrid and Barcelona. In fact, I think what they'll do is what they do is just focus on the Champions League, and then you get idiots like today Same Real Madrid fans tweeting saying, well, we're the best team in the world because you're European champions. Well, to be honest, in your league, you only have to play about 10 games a season that are competitive. The rest of them, it's like an exhibition, you know. I mean, Ronaldo and Messi scoring 6 and 7 hat-tricks a season each is just ridiculous. They'd be lucky to get 2 in the Premier League. And then they're totally fit for the Champions League, which is a massive advantage. And of course they go and win it. So I don't think they're the best teams at all. I think if you stuck them in the Premier League, they'd be up there, but I don't think they'd necessarily win it. But trying to sleep and listen at the same time, says Dopey Venom. Soonest crying as well. I mean... I think there was a good comment that I sort of adapted a bit, but Jose did say Liverpool and Arsenal cannot make signings like Pogba, which I took as a veiled thing of shut up Klopp and Wenger, because Alex is dabbing again. Shut up Klopp and Wenger, because why are you commenting on a player that you're never ever going to be able to sign? Which I thought was brilliant as well. Looking for a bit of a question here, because I need to throw something over to Alex, but 8.5 million. We've got a fantasy Premier League. I haven't got the league code. It's on one of our older videos for those who want to enter. I'm sure you have. 8.5 million is on fantasy Premier League. Me and Alex both play it. A couple of people at work play it, and they're asking whether I was going to get Pogba. I haven't asked Alex yet. I'm actually not going to get Pogba for 8.5 million in my midfield because I don't know whether he scores enough goals or not. But you were saying, Alex, that he gets a lot of man of the matches, so maybe he would be a good signing.
I haven't double checked, but you said earlier in the chat when I was at work that he's 8.5, and for that money I probably will get him, because at the moment the United midfielder in my team is Mkhitaryan, and I have no faith now after the recent games that he's going to be in our starting lineup when it comes to the Bournemouth game. And I don't think Pogba will either, but I'm saying long term, Pogba last season was top assist in Serie A and he got 8 goals in the league. So for 8.5, that is a pretty decent return when you're looking at other players. I think a really good value for money in terms of goals in the league next season is Martial, because he's now listed as a midfielder in FPL. So it just depends. If Mkhitaryan is actually going to consistently play, then I'll put him in my team, but I just have a feeling it's going to be Martial, Rooney, Lingard on the opening day, which makes no sense to me, but I guess Jose loves Lingard because he works hard.
Yeah, he definitely does. One of the other things I wanted to ask you as well is, do you think we'll sign anybody else?
No, I had this discussion at work there. I don't think that we'll sign a single other player. I know there are newspapers like Duncan Castle saying that we will sign another experienced centre-back and stuff, but Jose said the whole time that we identified 4 key positions, and it's like we haven't really sold anyone, which is really weird. McNair and Donald Love went out today to Sunderland, like basically a few minutes, I think, before we started this show. I don't know whether it's official yet.
Loans.
Oh, is it loans?
No, I don't know. Did we sell them or what?
Oh no, I didn't see like an official thing, but I saw it said agreed a fee, so I assume that means we've sold them both, which surprised me with McNair, not so much with Love. But Van
Gaal ruined McNair.
Yeah, he did. But it like, I'm surprised we haven't really sold anyone. I mean, Ashley Young is linked with Crystal Palace, which he is actually one of our highest earners, which really surprised me. He's in the top 10 earners at United, which I saw the other day. But Ashley Young.
Oh yeah, 120 grand a week.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Which did surprise me. I think he's a good player, but obviously not worth that sort of money. But we haven't really sold anyone. It's like Phil Jones and like Rojo and stuff. You'd think would be out the door, especially Phil Jones, because he can't even stay fit. But like, if we were to sign another player, it would be either a centre back or a right back, and you'd think Jones or Rojo would be out the door. But I think this will be our squad with the coming season.
Lynn, let me know who's on Fan TV at the moment. They're still talking about United because they've got to get Geordies on and everything, you know. Rap Mexi is saying the best decision we made was moving Giggs on. Feels like a fresh start. Ashley Young to Crystal Palace as mental jewels. The trouble with Ashley Young, Alex touched on it there. He's paid way too much money. Pereira to PSV, says Tommy Harold. I haven't heard that. I'd be gutted if that. I haven't really heard much tonight. I don't know whether there's any truth in that. Alfie 3201 saying McNair is nowhere good enough. I agree with McNair going now, but what I did say about McNair last summer, and maybe a little bit before that actually, was that give him 2 years and he will be a top class centre back, probably at Manchester United. The reason that hasn't come to fruition is because Van Gaal destroyed him. subbing him off after half an hour, playing him at right back. And I just remember that game he played against Everton a couple of years ago. And he had a couple of games at centre-back and everyone was like, oh, he's the next big thing. And he just needed nurturing and giving an arm around the shoulder. And Van Gaal just didn't do it. And it's a shame, really. But he might get that with Moyes and he might become a decent lower-level Premier League sort of centre-back, which he's certainly got the potential of. But it just shows you, how easy careers can be destroyed. Memphis to Chelsea, says somebody there. I can't see that happen. Carrick fan says, Real Madrid fans saying they didn't want Pogba talking rubbish. Of course they wanted him. Most clubs in the world wanted him. As I said last night, Zidane did his interview 2 weeks ago where he said he'd like to have Pogba. So anybody who wants to try anything is ridiculous. And any British club, whether it's City, Chelsea, Liverpool or Arsenal, who are saying they don't want Pogba, let's have a look at your midfields. Henderson, Wilshere, Delph and Fabregas, get out and walk. Pogba is going to be the best midfielder in this country, no problems at all. Here's an interesting question from John Fleming. He says Pogba would be great at number 10 for us with his strength and attacking prowess. I mean, Alex is shaking his head there, but what somebody said last night and we missed it when we finished the show was that why does nobody mention Rashford or Martial as a number 10? Not convinced Martial's a number 10, but Rashford, I think Rashford could play in goal at the moment. He just looks brilliant every time he comes on. But for me, it's Mkhitaryan and Pogba's got to be box to box because if you put Pogba at number 10, you lose his driving runs, which is a massive part of his game.
Exactly, that's the whole thing. It was like Red Devil Chronicle put their team for the starting season coming out, and they put Pogba at number 10. And I tweeted them. I'm like, why would you take away our best centre mid from that centre mid position when centre mid is the main problem that we have been having? He is a box to box midfielder, as you rightly say, and you take away the driving runs, and he came in Juventus' team which won the league by an absolute mile. He was their top tackler as well, so that just shows he can do the defensive side of things as well. And he's just not a number 10. In terms of the Rashford thing being a number 10, I would rather it be that if you play one off the striker, I'd rather have Zlatan off the striker because then you could have him hold the ball up and then Rashford just run off him with his pace. But that would be basically like a 4-4-2, but you could have it as a 4-2-3-1 that turns into a 4-4-2, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not happy with Fan TV because they're still talking United for over an hour. What's the point of me going on? Ridiculous. And I'll be bringing 1,500 viewers for them as well. So I'll be having a word. But Pogba box to box, Menza as ass destroyer, says Dale Chilcott. Rooney out, says Daniel McImpact. Joel Merry says Mark Dab. We don't dab till Fellaini's gets sold. It'll probably be another summer now, but I'm not dabbing till then. Alex is dabbing. Look, he keeps dabbing. Why not 4-3-3 with Pogba on left centre midfield, Carrick centre midfield, and Herrera centre midfield? There's lots of options for Manchester United now. There's no doubt about that. Jordan Coffey says, please tell Alex he's a legend. Proper love his banter on Twitter. Is that your brother or your mother? Who should be our next manager when Moo leaves? Says Dan. Well, let's not get into that one. I mean, he's only just started. You always say don't pay players out of position, but Mkhitaryan is a right winger, not a number 10, says Jude DXD. Yeah, he is, but I think he's a better number 10 than what we've got.
He's played most of his career as a number 10, but his best ever season last season was as a right winger, so you can make a case for either of them, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a good point, and he's better than what we've got at the moment, isn't he? That's the big thing. Shia Burke, Alex is the only guest I don't mind. Dan, he's asking who should be the next manager. I don't know, Paul Scholes, there you go. Mark, who would you keep, De Gea or Zlatan? That's a weird question from KKM. There's some weird questions tonight. Street party when the bug brush is sold, says Mark 79. I don't think he'll be sold, I really don't think that would be a perfect summer. I mean, it's been pretty perfect as it is, but that would be a pretty good summer. Mark, Alex will be playing Pogba in the next game. We'll give him 60 minutes. We discussed that at the start. I think we'll struggle. Is Mata staying, says James Letham. Well, I'll throw that to Alex. Do you think Mata's staying? I think he's staying.
I think he will stay this summer. There was a lot of paper talk about the Community Shield, about how he came on and then he came off with 2-3 minutes to go. But Jose said it was for the height, and I do believe him because like people say, "Oh, isn't a trophy, isn't a trophy." But I think Jose would have taken that as a trophy, and he brought Schneiderlin on for Mata, who's obviously a lot taller than him. And he said that he could have taken Mata or Herrera off, but Mata's our smallest player, and he knew that in the last few minutes they were going to be pumping balls into the box, which is what they ended up doing anyway. So I believe that it was for that, and I think if you were to say, oh, he took Mata off like really quick, well, look at Mkhitaryan. He played him for like 2-3 minutes and he wasn't even injured. So that was more of a head scratcher to me than Mata.
Yeah, I can't see Mata going at all. I think it'd be mad to get rid of Mata actually, because Rooney's just not performing at the moment. So yeah, I think that'd be really, really shocking to do that, because if Rooney continued not to perform and then Mkhitaryan got injured, who are you going to play at number 10? So it'd be silly to do that unless we're going to sign somebody like James Rodriguez or Lozano or somebody like that, which I don't know whether we are. I mean, Alex seems to think we won't be signing anybody else. I've got a funny feeling that we'll sign Fabinho. I've been saying that for quite a while. Salah Ahmed says, Mark, you remind me of Carragher. Bloody hell. I've been called some things since I've done this. You know, Phil Mitchell, Ed Woodward's son, Rooney's brother, Jamie Carragher. I mean, it's never anybody good looking, is it? It's never Leonardo DiCaprio or something like that. But what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Well, for those people who are watching, and there's quite a few of you, I'm glad I've saved this for now, and I'm going to throw it straight to Alex as well. I've been thinking about it today. I've always been a bit non-committal about what's going to happen this season, but you can pin it, you can bookmark it, you can do whatever you like with this bit of the video. But Manchester United are going to win the league this season. That is, I've only thought about it in the last few hours, but I'm going to put it on video now. Manchester United are going to win the league this season, and the reason I feel that is because we've got a goal scorer up front who's world class and scores a goal every 2 games. I think Mkhitaryan will be played, and he's got goals and assists coming out of his backside, like I said. We've got a lot of players who've got to prove themselves anyway from last season, and I think they will. The likes of Schneiderlin, the likes of Martial will improve. We've just added Paul Pogba, point to prove, and one of the best midfielders in the world. We've got David De Gea, best goalkeeper in the world. We've got Luke Shaw, like a new signing, left back. You know, unless we got an absolute, you know, Saving Private Ryan massacre of injuries, which I don't think we will. Jose said he won't allow that, which we always blamed Van Gaal for. This, and also Jose himself will not settle for second best. I just think everything points to the fact that we're going to win the league. I mean, I don't know what you think, Alex. Some people are laughing about it, but I thought about it. I thought, you know what? I'm going to, you know, got a lot of things right this summer. I'm going to go for this as well.
I think it truly boils down to one thing. In terms of injuries, I don't think that's going to be that much of a problem. Jose himself has said, and it is actually a fact, that he gets like the least injuries out of any top manager by an absolute mile, even though he keeps the same squad, it seems, in every single game. But it boils down to the fact of if Zlatan hits the ground running, because he's going to be our most important player this season. I know we've signed the likes of Pogba and Mkhitaryan, who are going to be huge players for us. But our problem is last season and the last few seasons, basically since we lost RVP, is that we haven't got a focal point up front that's going to score. Like Rashford, obviously, is absolute class. Martial is class as well, but we don't have someone that can get us that 30 goals a season like RVP did. And Zlatan is well capable of doing that, but it's just if his age is an issue. I personally do not think that it will be, because I think he's just come off the back of his best ever season. His game has never been about pace. It's always been about his like strength and power and technical ability. And if the likes of Giroud and Harry Kane are prolific in this league, and Zlatan is bigger than them, stronger than them, and far, far, far more technically gifted than them, then I don't think he'll have a problem. But it's just whether he stays fit, and it's like a lot of rivals are saying that he won't even get like 10 goals, but I think if we can actually start creating chances, then he will have a big impact. Because the one thing that worried me is that people were saying, oh, Zlatan played shit the other day in the Community Shield, but he scored his only chance he was given, because it was once again we were uncreative. So if you give Zlatan chances, he will put them away.
Yeah, so what are you going for?
Oh, sorry. It depends completely. If we take the Europa League serious, then second. If we play out reserves, and when I say reserves, I'm talking like just leave like Pogba, Zlatan, Mickey at home, then I think we'll win the league.
And I definitely think you should do that based on previous experiences with people in the English second half of the season, and also because all you get in the Europa League is a Champions League spot and a second-rate European trophy, and we'll get that we won't get the trophy, but we can win the FA Cup again. But we'll get Champions League anyway from finishing in the top 4. So that's what we should go for. I think we can win the league. I was just looking in my emails there, and I had an email from Harry Glass, so I'll read it out. It says, "Hey Mark, Paul Pogba is my favourite player ever. This is my 11. De Gea, Darmian, Smalling, Bailly, Shaw, Herrera, Carrick, Martial, Pogba, Mickey, Ibrahimovic." So he must be playing Pogba as a number 10. "Who will be our new player for United next summer? Question mark. Love you and the stand. Love from your biggest fan, Harry Glass." Harry. I disagree with your team, Harry. I wouldn't put Pogba at number 10, but I was reading the email, so I'll read it out. See what anyone else has got to say. Mark?
Can I just say quickly, if you're not going to comment on who our signing will be for next season, I truly think with Zlatan being like he'd been turning 36 the following season, and I'm not just basing it off this, but I don't think you saw it, and I don't think I tweeted it to you in the United Stand chat, but Griezmann's brother is a well-known United fan, and he tweeted Pogba saying, "I'll see you at Old Trafford tonight." I know we just signed a contract, but we've shown that money isn't an issue to us, and I think we would go next summer all out for Griezmann.
We're singing off the same hymn sheet there. I think Griezmann was a close deal this summer, but Simeone stayed at Atletico Madrid, and surprise, surprise, they haven't sold any players, have they? Because everyone likes him. But I think this surely will be his last go at the La Liga and the Champions League before he moves on. And then when he moves on, I think some of their players will. And Griezmann can only really go to Barcelona, PSG or United. And I think he will come to United. I think we'll have Champions League, so I'd agree with that. And what a signing he would be as well. Because at some point, Rashford and or Martial are going to be our number 9. A lot of people want Martial to be our number 9 now. I'm more than happy for him to stay on the wing because he's developing, he gets space. It's like Thierry Henry when he was younger. And Rashford will get 30 games this season just from people picking up injuries or coming on for half an hour, and he can play anywhere. So in a year's time, playing with Zlatan as well, or maybe even 2, but it'll work really well. But Griezmann can play, he could be our number 10. I think this will be Rooney's last season one way or another. Somebody was just saying that Jose isn't done, but it's whizzed by. Will Rooney be phased out? Jason Garbett? Yeah, I think this will be his last season. I mean, Alex has to take the plaudits. He said this time last year that he was on the decline. I wasn't 100% sure about that. He was right. He is. There was nothing to suggest that he wasn't on the decline last year, and it's been too long now for him to just suddenly. The thing about Rooney is that I respect Rooney. I think we all do. That's what last Wednesday was about. At the start of his career, he was fantastic. He's been a real team player, but you know what? When somebody's not good enough anymore, you move them on. It happened with the likes of Nicky Butt. Paul Scholes retired himself, but you do get rid of players towards the end of their career. And for Rooney to get back anywhere near what we need him to be, he'd need to be about 2 yards faster. He'd need to improve his control, his passing, his ability to run games. It's not just, have one. I'm sure he'll have 1 or 2 good games over the next month and people will be like, Rooney's back, the same old people. But he's got to do it like every game, more or less. And I just don't think he can do that anymore, mainly because he's on the decline of his age. Nothing to do with disliking him. Jay Adele saying Rashford on the wing. I think Rashford can play anywhere. Do you think Zlatan will stay 1 more year next year? Says MUFC Culture. He might do. We'll just have to see. He might fancy 1 more go in the Champions League because he won't get that this season. That's a good point. Edwin Glassford saying the team needs cleaning up a bit now. Do you expect us to sell any players, Alex? And if so, who?
Maybe Ashley Young, just because he's linked to the move away. I would have thought before everything started there was always the rumours of Mata, Blind, Rojo, Jones. I would have thought we would have got rid of a few of them. But clearly it doesn't seem that we are. I think Pereira might go out on loan, and no, I don't think Fosu will, but I think Pereira might do, which I wouldn't necessarily be against, because if he's not going to play, I'd rather him go out on loan to a Premier League team. But I've said on here already before that I want him, if he does go out on loan, to a team that does actually try to play attacking football, so the likes of Bournemouth, Swansea, teams like that. I know they're not like nowhere close to United's level, but they do actually try to attack rather than him going to like someone like West Brom that are just going to like hoof it over his head that he won't have any development at. But in terms of outgoings, I can't really think of anyone really, because we haven't, like, I always read like the newspapers and stuff, and we haven't really had anyone that strongly linked away.
No, I think we will get rid of some players because we've got to get rid of some players. I think the squad, even when Smalling comes back and Fosu Mensah's back, there was already people like Phil Jones and Ashley Young missing out from the bench at the weekend, amongst others like Darmian and Memphis. So we could do with cutting one or two. But having said that, we started the show saying how rich Manchester United are, didn't we? So we don't have to do it. It makes sense to trim the wage bill a bit because you're probably going to save £500,000 a week just by getting rid of 3 or 4 players that aren't going to be used. And what I would say is that keep your eye on this. It's not something that's worrying me too much at the moment, but I do want to throw this question to the comments as well as Alex in a moment, is that I don't count Rashford and Fosu Mensah as youth products for Jose. So he's got to bring through his own youth products because as much as I slag Van Gaal off, and he definitely stumbled on Rashford, he brought Fosu Mensah and Rashford in. That was his role. That was his tenure. So Jose's got to bring some through some youth players. If he wanted to do it with Pereira, that could count for him because nobody else has done it. I don't think he will do. But somebody mentioned Callum Gribbin in there. We've got Twan Seaby. But I want to see him bring a youth player through this summer. And the only way that's going to happen is if he trims the squad. Because otherwise, when we do pick up injuries, we're going to be seeing the likes of Phil Jones coming in. We're going to see the likes of Ashley Young coming in. That's what we're going to see because the squad's so big. We're going to see Fellaini playing, although I think he'll probably start anyway, no, my luck. But yeah, I mean, I do think we'll get rid of players, but some of the players that I predicted would go, clearly I don't think they are. I thought Daley Blind would go, I thought Juan Mata would go, I thought either Herrera or Schneiderlin would go. I didn't think Schweinsteiger would. I never thought Memphis was going to go. I thought Phil Jones would go and Rojo would go. So that's 5 there. And out of those 5, I don't necessarily think any of them will. I think Rojo maybe, but I can't see him getting rid of Blind now because he's played him nearly every game. And he'll certainly play on Sunday. So, yeah, I mean, Rojo needs to go, but whether he will or not, I don't know. But youth, where do you stand on the youth? I know you're a massive Jose fan anyway, Alex. I mean, do you think he needs to bring somebody through this season, or do you think it's just about, using what he's got and getting where we can in the league? I mean, that's what he's done for his whole career, and that's what a lot of people criticise him for.
I know you say it won't count, but just one player who I keep going on and on and on about, who I really have so much faith in breaking into the first team, is Fosu Mensah, and I don't know whether he will ever get a chance under Jose at centre mid, which is his best position, so we could potentially play him at right back, although you then have the debate of should we play him out of position just to like force him into position when he's not necessarily ready. But maybe if we're in the FA Cup or like Capital One Cup against like lower teams, he'll get a chance there, and then if he really impresses, then maybe he'll get a chance in the Premier League. People are saying about Taif Chong and Angel Gomez for him to bring through. I think they're too young at the moment. I know Taif Chong just won player of the tournament at whatever tournament it was that they were in, and Angel Gomez I think is still only like 16, isn't he?
Yeah.
I know he's like really highly rated, but he's too young really, and I think the one chance if you were going to go with senior debuts in the Premier League is Twan Seaby, because Jose does seem to rate him. But he said that he trimmed his squad down to like it's the biggest squad he's ever had, which is like I think it's like 25, isn't it, overall? Because he said he normally works with like 20 and then 3 goalkeepers, and at the moment he's on like I think it's like 22 with 3 goalkeepers, something like that. So maybe you could say he's selling people or not. But yeah, Twan Seaby could be one, but I'm not even sure if he is still training with the senior squad after the tour. But yeah, Fosu Mensah would be my absolute perfect pick. And someone just said actually, oh fuck, thank you, just went off in the comments, but I've actually said time and time again that I would want our double pivot in midfield to be Fosu Mensah and Pogba, but I know that's just a dream world and it will never happen, but that's just what I'd want to see happen.
Yep. Anyone else watching UEFA Super Cup live, says Joel Kellum? Nope. 23 and 3 goalkeepers. I mean, Yamasai is obviously going to go as well. I don't know whether he's gone yet, but he will go. Mark, you look like Nick Tilsley. That's another ugly one. Memphis needs to score 10 goals this season, says Timbo. I think he would do well to play 10 games this season. He's well out at the moment. Lukaku, I think, will go back to Chelsea. Ian Buckle. Matuidi, I hope, says to be typical Habib Gaming. We still need a class defender, says Task Force 79. I think we do. Herrera over Rooney at number 10, says Andres Perry. We played quite well with Herrera at number 10. I remember that game he played, I think it was against Everton, and the following game Watford, I think he set a goal up and then he went off injured, and that was the end of that. You think he was out up until around Christmas then. Adam G, when you're going on to Fan TV, Mark, haven't got a bloody clue. That's why I'm staying here live at the moment, because I don't know what's going on with them. May not go on at all. Penalty Kick TV wants me to watch his video. Okay, can't do that at the moment, mate. You look like Elmo. You look like a young Mickey Rooney. Thoughts on Memphis, says Daniel Stein. Well, okay then, let's Alex likes Memphis, but I think he sort of changed his mind on him recently. We did Memphis on Sunday. No, we're not doing Memphis again. I'm sorry to be harsh, but we did. I remember exactly what you said about it. We were both like, he doesn't deserve to be in the team at the moment, and he's going to struggle to get in the team, but he won't be sold. Villa fans on Fan TV. You know what? I'm just going to wrap this up in a minute, and they can do one. I think I'm not waiting around for like Villa fans to talk and then getting 10 minutes at the end of the show. I mean, that's just disgraceful, isn't it? When they spent about an hour and a bit talking about United before. Forget it. They're not having our viewers. You look more like Rubble from the Paw Patrol. Oh, come on. I know what Paw Patrol is. Give us a good question. Moyes is doing us a favour now, taking the dead wood. He needs to take Fellaini. Do you think Martial would be better than Henry? Impossible to say. If you could sign another player, who would you bring in? That's from Errant17, Alex. That's a good question. Who would you bring in if you could sign any player now?
Bonucci, just because we need an experienced centre-back, and I know it would be really, really controversial, but I'd partner him with Bay rather than...
Well, you love Bay, don't you? So he's still there.
Yeah, I think he is raw. Like he does make mistakes and stuff still, but I think he has all the physical attributes to play in the Premier League. I think at the moment, especially in the Community Shield game, I know he got matched, but I think he's kind of trying too hard, because obviously it's your first time at a new club and everything, and especially a club as big as United, and Jose rates him really highly, so I trust Jose's judgment, but from what I've seen from him so far, I am really impressed. I know we can't fully judge it until he gets into the Premier League, but I think with Smalling and Bay, both of them, they would benefit so much more with an experienced centre-back next to them. Like we said before, like the people that rated Johnny Evans, which I never did, but the ones that did, were always saying about how in those seasons he was good. But the seasons that he was good in, he had Rio or Vidic next to him, which is just like clearing up his messes. So it does really greatly benefit you if you have someone next year and experienced.
Yes, I would go for Manolas. Been quite consistent about that, and people will know that I don't really change my mind about anything when I say it. Like 5 weeks I've been saying Pogba would sign, 2 years I've been saying Fellaini's crap, and all summer I've said that Manolas would be my chosen centre-back. I don't think we'll get him, but I do agree with Alex. The next thing we need is a centre-back, 100%. So yeah, I would be going Manolas. That would be my choice. We've done 45 minutes. In fact, I think we went a bit early. We've probably done 50 minutes. What's going on? But I've got to be honest with you. Fan TV was meant to be on YouTube. That was set up and it didn't work. I was meant to be moving from here to Fan TV, but they've got Villa fans on now. At the end of the day, if I am on in half an hour, I am in half an hour, but then I'm only going to get 15 minutes. I will be emailing them now and saying my bits, because I don't think it's right. I think we would have brought a lot of viewers to their channel, and obviously it's their first night. Maybe there's an issue there. So I am going to end it there, because we've both got families and stuff, and have all of you. The links to go and watch Fan TV are in the video description. It's not on YouTube, but there is a website that it's beaming on. It's on Sky 212 and it's live on Facebook, so you can go and watch it, but I'm not on it. So it's Villa fans at the moment. I may be on it in the next 20 minutes or whatever. I'll tweet it out, but you know, I don't know. They did say I was going to get a bit of time at the end, so we'll see. I might be on there, but you've been with us on the United Stand. We'll be back on the United Stand tomorrow, obviously at 8:30. Let us know. Drop us a like if you like this new setup with the live comments, and obviously I think the Skype thing works. I apologise for the lag. That's because I went too big on the resolution, and I will sort that out tomorrow. It's normally far more stable, but we can go back to Hangouts, or we can go back, or we can keep it like this, and I think this is far better. Seems to have lost Alex for the moment there, but I can still see him on Skype. So yeah, thanks everybody for watching. A bit of a shame it's not gone to plan with the whole jump to Fan TV, but it is their very first launch night, so maybe that's why it went a little bit wrong. If I do get on there, I'm probably not going to be on there for about another 25 minutes or something like that. Lynn, I do deserve more than 10 minutes. You're spot on, but you know, I will speak to them. We'll see what happens. But Alex, thanks for coming on, mate.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and looking forward to the coming weekend with the Premier League kicking off. Exactly,
and you know, United Stand's not going anywhere. We're still pulling in plenty of you lot every day, and we're still doing the shows, and can't wait for Bournemouth on Sunday. Might do a live preview tomorrow night. He's dabbing again, but I've lost him off the screen for some reason. I don't know why. You can still hear him, but the dabber's gone. I don't know why it does that, but yeah, I'll probably do a live preview tomorrow night with the screen flashing up and everything like that, and we'll get somebody to join us as well. It might be Alex, you might want a night off. But thanks everybody for watching. I'm really sorry, I was really excited about jumping onto Fan TV and putting them in the place, but I might get on there, I might not, but the links are in the video description, and we'll just have to see what happens. But thanks everyone for watching. Do drop us a like if you like the new setup. Well, it's the old setup that we're going back to. But thanks everyone, really enjoyed it. Pogba's signed. Things are going from better to better. Speak to you all later.